A lot of business owners I work with tell me they're not using AI much. Now, sure, there are some that are concerned about conspiracies that are out there or whatever, and I'm not going to address that today. As far as the privacy is concerned, if you have a paid version of any of the big AI companies, you have the option to protect the confidentiality of your information. So once you pay for a subscription, like with ChatGPT, you can say, please don't share any of my information with the model, and that preserves the confidentiality. So that's a good basic step here. But what we're talking about today is 5 little techniques that will be a game changer for your AI usage. I'd recommend that you share these with every employee who works for you, because even if they give the most simple prompt, or even if they are a novice when it comes to using AI, these techniques will improve their output dramatically, like from level 1 to level 95. Second, it will train them on how to use AI better just by seeing how the AI works. So I'll walk you through them. It's really simple. The first step is give the AI as much context as possible. I'll give you an example. Let's say that you have a strategic partner, somebody in your business who's been saying some bad things about you, and you need to approach this. You need to give the AI some context as you put together an email. Now, maybe the best way to deal with this is not an email, it's a phone call. And in that case, you might generate the email and then just use the content from that email for a phone call. But let's talk about, how do we do this? Well, one way is to simply say, hey, please write a draft email about blank. That doesn't work great. You're going to just get a generic, overly simplified email addressing whatever you just presented. Instead, give the AI context. Here's what that looks like. I'm going to use my ChatGPT phone to speak it into the phone rather than type it, because I find that's the easier way to put the information in there. Here's the situation. A strategic partner of mine, Kevin, has been saying some bad things about me. I don't appreciate it. At first I was really offended and insulted. Then I wondered if it was even true. I'm not sure if it's true. I heard about it through the grapevine. I need to approach Kevin. I'm mad, I'm frustrated, I'm confused. I feel like this is affecting my trust for him, but I don't want to overreact. I don't want to approach this the wrong way. I don't know how to approach this, and I am concerned that if I approach it the wrong way, it's going to harm our relationship. But if I'm too weak or naive, that could also harm our relationship. I'm not really sure how to approach this. So as you can see there, I didn't think about AI as a prompt. I didn't use the technique of act like a therapist or act like an email writing expert. We don't need to do that anymore. That's 2024. Here in 2025, you can just give the AI context. Think of it like your best friend, your mentor, somebody that you look up to, and you're just saying, hey, here's what happened. I'm not sure what to do about this. Here's how I'm feeling. I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure about that. By doing that, you're giving the AI context for the situation. In 2025, AI is smart enough to take all of that and then figure out what is your intent and what do you need to do from that. So, step number 1, give AI context. Another example of that might be putting an email thread into the chat window. Another example might be putting a document in there or taking a photo of something. Give AI as much content as possible. So that's step number 1. So as you can see, all of that information is in there. It doesn't even have punctuation, but I'm just going to tell it to AI. And AI is going to produce some sort of response. We don't need to worry about that response That is important because now the rest of this is on autopilot. Now we move to the next step after we've given it context. Once AI is done thinking with the last step and processing the content and the context that you gave it, then we're going to ask AI to act like an AI prompt engineer. But we don't have to say that. We can just say, hey, for my situation, please draft an AI prompt. Use best practices. Act like an expert. By the way, these little parts here, use best practices, act like an expert. The idea there is we want to use its best thinking, not average thinking. Keep in mind, AI was trained on all the content on the internet, so it defaults to average thinking. If you want best thinking, ask for best practices or act like an expert. So here now, we're going to ask AI to create a prompt for us. This is great. It's the lazy business person's approach to creating an AI prompt. You don't need to write up the prompt. Look at all this. I'm seeking expert guidance on how to approach a situation involving a strategic business partner. And now it breaks down the context. My business partner, Kevin, has reportedly been making negative statements about me. I heard this indirectly through others and do not have first-hand confirmation. The statements, if true, could impact my trust in him and our professional relationship. I'm feeling very frustrated, angry, and uncertain about how to handle this. So that's the context. Then, AI identified the objective. I need a structured, professional approach to address Kevin directly. The goal is to clarify the truth without making assumptions, maintain the control of my emotions while confronting the issue, avoid overacting or appearing weak, ensure the conversation is productive, not unnecessarily damaging to our relationship. And then it puts in here a request. Provide a step-by-step conflict resolution strategy, including, and then it lists an approach here. Great. So now we have a first draft of an AI prompt that we can use. Instead of drafting a prompt ourselves, we used AI to do it. So let's review. Step 1, give the AI context. Step 2, ask AI to prepare a prompt for you as an expert using best practices. Now we move to step 3. Step 3 is we ask AI to level up its prompt. We say, good, that's a level 1 answer, but you can do better. Please act like an expert. Give me a level 2 version with substantially improved intelligence and quality. So now what we're allowing AI to do is review what it did and say, how can we make this better? And now it provides more thorough, more expert level content for the prompt. So we just went from AI creating a prompt to AI improving the prompt. And this time you'll see it has deliverable requirements, have a pre-engagement strategy, a way to open the conversation, etc., etc. A lot of really good techniques are coming out of this as AI comes back through and reassesses its project. Think of it like asking a high schooler to first do an assignment, now critique the assignment and do it way better. Of course, they're going to find ways to improve because every time we think through something, we can improve it. Likewise, when a computer goes back through and analyzes it and thinks about how can I do it better, how can I do it better, how can I level up, it will find new ideas. So now what do? We're going to ask it to level up again. But this time, we're going to ask it to output in a special way. So here's the prompt. Great progress. Now, please take this to level 3. Give me the most advanced response you can think of. We're going to add one more piece of code here though. We're going to say output in code block markdown. So let's see what that looks like. Code block is this little gray box that shows up here. It's a way for an AI to produce code, but it also allows for text to be produced without bolding and different size fonts, etc. All of that is captured right here. So where there's a single prompt, by the way, you don't need to know any of this, but I'll explain it for a second here. A single pound sign or number sign says, hey, this is a heading number 1. It's the largest heading. And then this here, 2 pound signs or 2 number signs, is heading number 2. And 2 asterisks are bold. So what we've done is we have put in text form some formatting information, because in a moment we're going to copy and paste all of this into a new AI prompt conversation. So AI has now generated this huge level 3 prompt, if you will. And remember, all of this was pretty simple. We started out just dumping all of our information in there about the context. Next, we said, please draft an AI prompt. Use best practices, act like an expert. You don't have to have those in there, but I like it. It gets a better quality response. And then we tell it to level up. That's a level 1 answer. That's good, but you can do better. Please act like an expert. Give me a level 2 version with substantially improved intelligence and quality. It does that. And now we say, great progress. Now take it to level 3. Give me the most advanced response you can think of. And this time we want it in a format that we can paste from the clipboard. So we say output in code block markdown. So now we have this big massive prompt. What are we going to do? We're going to go to the top of this little code block square. That's this gray square here, and we click copy. Now all of that is in the clipboard. Now what do? This is the final step. We go open a new chat. And for this, we want to have the most advanced AI possible. In AI terminology, that means using AI with reasoning, if possible. So I'll give you a couple examples. That would be ChatGPT 01, or 03 is even better. Most people have at least access to 01. So what I'm going to do is just paste in here the entire large prompt that was created in the last level. And because we are in ChatGPT 01, it is now going to think about it and produce the ultimate response. It's going to take a little time. It's working through this here. But here we have the best guidance regarding all of this. So we have a phase 1. Phase 1 here is pre-engagement intelligence gathering. Step 2, or phase 2 I should say, strategic positioning and conversation setup. Phase 3, advanced conversational topics for information extraction. Phase 4, response management, handling various outcomes. As you can see, this response is so much better than the typical prompt you might use when you just say, hey, act like an email writing expert and prepare an email for me to handle a situation where my friend Kevin might be saying some bad things about me. In that case, you're going to get an email, but it's not the level of thinking that you have here. Now, I used a fairly common example of something that requires some intelligence, ideally some expertise. It's not super simple. So it's not a Google search. It's not like, hey, what is the population of Australia? That you just dump into ChatGPT. You don't need to use this advanced approach for a simple Google search type question for AI. But where you have something that requires a little more thinking and you don't want to think yourself through all the steps, you can use this 5-step process. Now, the beauty of this 5-step process is if you want, you can go back into the prompt, which step 4 generated, this really advanced prompt here. Read through it and you can revise it as you desire. So you want to look over it, for example, and let's say you say, I lack firsthand evidence but need to act decisively. This whole thing about I'm frustrated, confused, and angry, maybe you don't want it to have that information. It's up to you. I generally leave as much context in there as possible, but I might tweak it to reflect my values and my style. Like here, it says identify and exploit psychological pressure points to reveal inconsistencies or truth. I might think, I don't want to do that. I don't want to exploit psychological pressure points. Let's strike that. And reading through it, you might see, oh, there's certain parts of this that don't reflect who I am, my values, or how I want to approach this particular situation. But the beauty of this approach is you didn't have to think about any of this from scratch. The AI built a substantial level 3 prompt for you to simply review and decide whether you agree or disagree with what was written in that prompt. Now, if you don't have access to a really smart AI like GPT-01, which I believe is free, at least if you set up a free account, there are a number of places where you can go and you have free access to a really smart AI. Another one here is Perplexity. I use Perplexity to replace Google searches, but it can also handle really tough questions. So here, I'm going to just paste in here the entire level 3 prompt that AI created. And I'm going to make sure that it's using a really smart AI model. So I could just click Pro Search. I could do deep research or reasoning, etc. Let's do reasoning with O3 Mini. That's using ChatGPT's O3 model. This is reasoning with R1, which is DeepSeek's reasoning model. You don't have to know what any of that means, but if you can use a reasoning model, that's where you're going to get some of the best results. So here we go. All that gets thrown in there. It looks like I clicked deep research, and now it's going to have to think for a few minutes. And it's going to, again, produce really high quality results. So that's it. Step 1 is the only part that really takes some brain power. That's where you just think through out loud and go ahead and just orally process your thoughts, your feelings, and all the information you have about the situation. Once you do that and just dump it into the AI, the rest is essentially autopilot. You're just pasting in each one of those prompts. Now, if you want the exact text of each one of those prompts, just look in the video description below. You don't even have to subscribe to our free newsletter of tips to get it. I want to make it as easy as possible. It's in the YouTube video description below. Now, if you want other tips on how to avoid legal problems in your business, how to implement best practices in growing your company, you're welcome to go to aaronhall.com/free. Sign up and we'll send you videos, tips, and other materials to help you grow your company under best practices like the best companies are. If you want other tips and videos like this, you can like this video, and that sends the message to YouTube, suggest other videos like this. And if you would like more videos by me, you're welcome to subscribe to this channel. I'm Aaron Hall. I'm an attorney for business owners and entrepreneurial companies. I hope this video helps you in a very easy way improve your AI prompting so you get the vastly better results from AI with virtually very little effort.